everybody. I'm Crystal, and welcome to Inspiring Artists, a series that takes a look into the life of everyday artists making extraordinary moves. Join in the fun as we explore life through the creative eye, examining the ways the arts help us deal with being human. Hi, pal. How are you?
Hi, Cece. How are you? Hi, everyone. Greetings from Taipei.
Yay! For those of you who don't know, Pal is a prolific playwright, an amazing actor and director, and an author. And I am lucky to call him as my friend and future baby's daddy. So, Pal, thank you so much. You didn't know about that. Pal, let's get right to it. I looked on your bio and you have a ridiculous resume. You have been so prolific. In terms of all that you've accomplished. I mean, I could go through this list, but
Please
let's
don't.
I'm not going to. It's ridiculously long. I was like, "Oh my God." I had no idea that you were like director for this ensemble for almost 10 years and that you've written a TV show that went a Chinese TV show. What was this? Am I right?
No, you
No.
probably read someone else, but
No,
I
that was
am working
you.
on one. I'm working on one as well. So
What are you working on right now?
I'm working on a TV script. Actually, this is my first time writing a long, like 6 episodes TV series. I'm very excited because it's always good to cross the boundaries between different fields. And I've been working on theater playwrights for, as you said, for like more than a decade. And now I think it's time to get out of my comfort zone and working on something in different medias. Yeah,
Ugh, you and me both. We're both in the same place, getting out of our comfort zones and pushing forward. Yay! So, Pal, what was theater your first love? And if so, or if not, what brought you to theater?
I would say it was a beautiful mistake. I didn't want to study theater in the first place, to be honest with you. I've always wanted to be a diplomat. And
Really?
I've been interested in languages. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna study languages and then study politics. And then I wish I could be the representative of Taiwan and do things for my country. I'm not as ridiculous patriotist, but well, as you may have heard, Taiwan is not in the best like international situation in terms of our current status.
I've heard.
Yeah,
I feel like if it's any consolation, nobody's really in a good state right now.
fair
So,
enough. Yes,
hopefully hopefully it won't escalate the situation.
totally agree. And back to my journey, I failed in the exam, entered the college. Well, not absolutely failed, but in one subject, which is the mathematics. So I couldn't reach the Department of International Politics in National Taiwan University. So I was like, I'm just gonna choose something sounding fun and then just get in. And then the second year, I'm just gonna transfer myself to the international politics relations. And then accidentally, I started to rehearse a play by Anton Chekhov, a Russian playwright who wrote the play The Cherry Orchard. And then I was absolutely in love with the play, with the playwright, with the text, with acting. So I didn't transfer myself to another department, and here I am.
That's a crazy story because I resonate with that as well. Like I don't know if I didn't know that you had a background in diplomacy because I also had a background in diplomacy in my
I
undergrad.
remember that, yes.
And it's funny how those two worlds kind of mirror each other in a lot of ways. Like I would say
Exactly.
diplomacy, the study of international relations, the theater, the study of human relations. So it's kind of funny how they just kind of mesh like that. That's
And
crazy.
it's
So
all about acting.
it
So
is. I mean, to be
uh,
fair, most things are all about acting.
that's true, right? Yeah.
Teaching, I just came back from teaching a class and I literally was just so overwhelmed by all the noise and the kids not listening to me. And I just took a deep breath and smiled and was like, "Ah, everything's gonna be okay," even though inside I was not feeling that way at all, so
You're such a good actress.
I'm
I
a very
admire
good
you.
actress. I do try.
Yes.
So
Awesome.
here's a question for you. When you were little no, that's not a question I'm gonna ask. So now that you
Like how little? Okay.
when you were a baby, what did you dream about? No. So now that you have this career where you are, like, writing, and I wanna say that one of my memories of you, Pal, when we were in school together oh, by the way, that's how Pal and I know each other is we went to school together, was that you were always writing constantly. I feel like you had this dedication to writing. So, one of my questions that I was thinking is what inspires you to do the work that you do, to write the stories that you write? Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to say I wouldn't call myself like a writing machine. I wouldn't call myself like, oh, that's my passion. I have to write. But it's very interesting that you mentioned during our year in London, Central School of Speech and Drama. I guess I was going through a very special phase of my life. For example, you guys, like including you, of course, all my international friends, you guys open up my horizon. Like I've never experienced so many, for example, violent, lovable hugs from and kisses from all my friends,
What do
and
you
like
mean?
it's
What are you
just like
talking about?
I wasn't used to that. Like before I went to Central, I was like, yeah, we basically just we don't even shake hands. We just take a bow and then smile. But then it's all getting so physical in a way, which I love, absolutely love, and get used to it. But not only that, but also a lot of culture shock, a lot of self struggle questions and stuff. So I would say the reason why I want to write is really because I do have something to say. And believe it or not, it all came from mostly frustration, self-doubting, and then just just all possibly perhaps all sounding negative stuff. But I think as an artist, you can always transform these what we call negativity into something beautiful. And then you'll be surprised. A lot of people share the same feelings as we do. And then that's how you communicate with each other. And then you will find out eventually you're not alone.
Wow, that was beautiful, pal. So was your writing for you then a way for you to actually process your emotions and process this new culture that you were experiencing?
A lot of time, yes. And especially when we were younger, we are craving so many things. We're craving to be recognized. We're craving for love. We're craving for a relationship. We picture our future and blah 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 blah. And you realize that the reality and the dreams are not usually coherent or on the same track. So you feel a lot, and a lot of people. I mean, obviously theater or creative writing is not the only way for you to kind of let go your feelings, but I'm really lucky that I get to have this skill and interest and environment as a vehicle for me to express myself.
That's wonderful. How is your writing? You mentioned being youthful and having these feelings and dreams. How has your writing changed over the years? And do you see that reflected in your writing and in your characters? Like these characters who are now more, I don't know, maybe negative or disillusioned or
Oh,
jaded.
I am always negative.
I
I'm a
mean,
very negative person, as you can see.
you're a cute negative person though.
Thank you. So when I just started my writing career, I wouldn't even dare to call it as a career because yeah, not that I'm being modest. It's just that I think writing is such a craft, and I'm still learning. I'm still on my way to that great kingdom of
I feel
writing.
like that's a true artist sentiment though, right? Is like you're never satisfied.
Exactly. Yeah, it will be very dangerous if you get to the point that yeah, I think I'm done. Then it's really done. You're
Yeah,
done.
you're done.
So yeah. So when I started to write, I didn't care about anything, meaning I just want to write something really funny because I think life is miserable. As I said, I was like very negative in my teenage years. So I was like, I just want to write something that can make people laugh. And I think it's such a wonderful thing. So my first two pieces were like crazy satire, funny, black comedy. And it received a pretty good feedback, but not from the critics because they were like, theater is not just about entertainment.
Ah.
What's your educational message? What do you want to express through your piece? And I didn't understand this question. I was really offended, to be honest with you. I was like, your life is miserable. Isn't it good enough for you to laugh during the theater? But then as I grow older and older, I started to understand what they were talking about because, well, first of all, entertainment, there's nothing wrong with entertaining or entertainment in theater. We need that and it's very important. But I guess theater as such a unique vehicle itself, we should, well, at least in my phase at the moment, I think it will be a shame if we simply consider it as a pure entertaining tool instead of using it as a manner to express something what I consider more important. So, for example, when I travel in Europe more and more often in my later age, I started to care more about the situation of the refugee people.
Mm,
And I just feel so attached to the subject and I feel for them. And then I was like, but here in Taiwan, as an island, we don't really have too many refugees as people can imagine. So I feel like I want to bring this subject to my home people and then possibly share the message through my creation. And then it was a big failure. Like
how
people were
so?
like, because people were like, we don't care about that.
Oh, interesting. Because
Yeah,
they couldn't resonate with it, they couldn't connect to it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I was actually going through a very like, how do you call that? Like a low
Depressed?
tie.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
depressed?
like yeah, you could say that even because I was like, so does that mean I should always write something funny to entertain
Mm,
people? And
mm,
then when I really want to say something, it seems like people don't care. I was struggling
yeah,
again.
yeah.
That was the second phase of my
Y
writing.
you know, it's interesting you say that because as you're talking, it's reminding me of just the art in general and particularly in singing. I feel
Mhm.
like that oftentimes, you know, as actors or as an actor who goes to school, you spend so much time diving into character work and dive and becoming this versatile actor who can do anything. And then you go out and for your auditions, and at least in my experience, you just get put up for the same types of roles, like you get typecasted. And so
Yeah.
there's this pull of like, I want to give all of myself. I want to talk about, all of these subjects, these really deep, important subjects, but to some degree, there is only so much that people tend to be willing to consume for some reason, or at least in
Mhm.
certain venues. So I,
Yeah.
I hear that, and I can see how frustrating that would be as a
Yeah.
as a creator. Do you think that there's if you were to give advice to somebody who's up and coming and who or to a potential creator, what would you say how in terms of how to navigate those two worlds of like artistry and commercialization? Is that a word? Commercialization?
Yeah, you tell me, English native
I don't
speaker.
I don't know. I speak
Yeah, I know. So, actually, I have something really simple to share,
go for
and
it.
it's based on my personal experience. I would, if I'm looking at you right now, I just want to tell you one thing. Just write something you feel for. and don't care about other people giving you any, like, well, some advice is good, but you don't have to take all of them, because sometimes people just forget how people care about different things in different ages. So they use their own current perspective to judge what you're writing. Forget
Mm,
about them. Don't care about them, because this is not who you are at the moment. If you only care about dolphin or seafood or whatsoever, just write about them. And people were like, what the hell are you writing about the seafood? And you were like, because that's my passion. Exactly. If you're passionate about something, you can write beautiful things about it. And if that's important to you, it will be important to other people.
how oh my god, my heart, that's beautiful. See, I knew you'd be inspiring. I knew you'd be a good person to, interview first because 'cause you're
I hope
inspiring
so.
me.
Oh, that's great.
I have a million projects that, like, I'll start writing and then I I mean, I feel like my brain goes all over the place, but I'll start writing and then, like, I don't finish, and then I go to it. I think my biggest issue is I'll go to what my work and I'll look at my work and I will edit while I'm trying to create.
Mhm.
And so and I'm constantly negating what I'm putting out because I'm like, no, that's not going to be good. No, that's not going to be good." So I appreciate hearing that because I'm like, okay, I just need to get to the place of just freaking write, just write.
Exactly. I'm
Wow.
constantly telling myself, even now, during my creative process, because what you describe, you're not alone. We're all going through that. So
Oh, that feels so good to hear. So on that note of kind of overcoming obstacles, what have been 3 things that you tell yourself or words or whatever that motivates you to move through an obstacle?
does it have to be three things?
No, it doesn't. I just picked 3. Like it can be like 1 or 5.
Well, the first thing I can think of is that whenever I feel like jaded or like stuck in wherever I am, well, this sounds so cliche, but I try to meditate a little bit
Yes. 'Cause if
because, yeah,
I think meditation will change the world. I think if every single person on this planet took 5 minutes a day just to sit in silence, I think the world, like, we wouldn't have any problems. I really do believe that. Because meditation I'm gonna go off on a tangent, but meditation for me, it it makes you it gives you space to take a break
exactly. Yeah,
from the rest of the chatter that most of the time is you don't even care about. It's
yeah.
not even your chatter. It's just things that people are telling you or that you're picking up that you're supposed to, it's supposed to be something you care about, but you don't really, and your soul doesn't really. So yes, sorry, I cut you off.
No, you mentioned something really important. Like meditation, not only take yourself like away from what you are struggling with, but also, as you said, everything needs some distance. So once you step out a little bit, you have a distance between the things you're working on and yourself. It always helps. It's almost like when you are having a fight with someone, you don't want to say bad things immediately because that's not true. You're just mad. But take some distance, take a day or two, you'll realize that you're not actually that pissed, and you will be more rational, hopefully, and then to communicate. And this will obviously achieve a better result, I believe. So, and not to mention the fact that just give yourself an experiment. Like you just sit there and then you just tell yourself, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm really happy. I'm so happy. Even if you don't really feel for it, you'll be surprised. You're smiling when you say that. It's such a weird thing.
It
Like,
is.
yeah. So whenever you're frustrated or you're confused about something, really just take 5 minutes, as you said, like just sit there and then talk to yourself. And then you will find out a lot of things are not that serious. And then you will feel more calm and then you will have a clearer perspective to go back to what you're working on.
Do you know, I feel like everything you've said, even though I've been meditating for a while, everything you just said, I literally have just learned this past year when Mother Nature put us in timeout with the quarantines. Because I feel like there was a particular person in my life I would get upset with, and my immediate reaction, you know me,
Oh
Aries,
yeah,
really, really like, my immediate can't help it, pal.
I
My immediate
know.
I try. No, but my immediate reaction would be like, "You mother," and then I was like, and I literally would have to just put my phone down, take a break, breathe, and then I would be able to actually say what it is that I wanted to say. But I had to get out all of the anger that I was feeling first
Exactly.
before, because I knew it was like I don't want to communicate words of hate to this person, right?
No.
And the other thing is that I wanted to like be like, yes, I get you. You said this process of just sitting down and saying, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, even though you're not. A lot of times I feel like there's this sort of desire, or at least in American culture, I feel like there's this leading idea of we have to be real, we have to be authentic, and this concept of authenticity being I just say what I'm thinking because that's authentic. But what
Mm,
I have found is that a lot of times, once again, the things that you're thinking are not entirely pure. They're not, and they're flavored by these emotions. They're flavored by these past understandings that they're not exactly what you really truly
yeah,
desire.
I
And a
agree.
lot of times these emotions that you're feeling, they come and they go, right?
Yeah,
Like it's like somebody, today you could be my best friend and I love you, and tomorrow you do something that annoys me and I'm like, God damn it, pal, like typical pal, and I hate him, right? Well, which one? I know I would never say that, pal. Never, never, never. It's just an example. But it's like, which one is it? Is he my best friend, or is he someone who gets on my damn nerves, right? He can be both. And it's
yeah,
like if I choose to hold on to one narrative or the other, that's the experience that I'm having of Pal. So if I'm having this negative experience, to me, it makes sense to just kind of take a moment and do that mental switch of like, I'm so happy, or it's going to be okay. Mine is, I always tell myself, all is well, like it's going to be okay, kind of thing. And yeah, I hear that. I get that. See,
I just want to add on one thing to what you just said. I found one particular exercise so helpful, and I've been doing that for the past couple years. It is that whenever I'm in bed, like before I go to sleep, I always name three things that I'm grateful for today.
yes.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. Like, well, at the end, it's almost like, well, today I achieved something, 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 and I'm safe and I'm healthy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And
Yes.
you can just talk to whoever you believe. It could be God, could be Buddha, could be Allah. It doesn't really matter. It could be something higher over there. But I think it's so important to stay grateful because it is true. Like we are experiencing frustrations and stuff, and there are shit stuff every day. But hey, we're here. We're alive. We're healthy. We are not. We didn't get COVID. We're here. So yeah, we
That's a
can.
big thing. And the
Yeah,
thing is too, what I find is when you're actually in a moment of being threatened, you don't have time to evaluate whether or not it's good or bad, right? Like you
exactly.
just react and you're like, I gotta fix this, and that's it. And then afterwards, when you're able to reflect, you're like, oh my God, that was a really horrible situation that I was in, or not, depending on the circumstance. I actually have one final question for you. This final question
Bitte.
is, huh?
Bitte.
Oh, sprichst du Deutsch?
Natürlich.
Oh, das geht! Do you have a memory? And I'm just coming up with this question off the spot, but I just thought it would be really fun to ask you.
No, I don't have a memory. Yeah.
Do you remember things at all? No. Do you have a memory in the theater or writing world where you were like, I cannot do this, and then you surprised yourself on the other side?
Wow.
I know, right? I didn't give you any time to prepare either. I was just like, boom.
To be fair, every time before I go on stage, when I'm the side stage, I was like, why am I doing this? I hate myself. I cannot act. I shouldn't do this. Every time, I still feel that, and I think it's important to feel that kind of anxiety and excitement. No matter how well prepared I am, I still enjoy that kind of excitement. I believe when one day, if I go on stage, I was like, "Oh, is it my turn?" And then I think I'm done. I shouldn't do this anymore. But I have one example. When I was rehearsing the play called Bent by Martin Sherman,
Mhm,
it was such a beautiful play, a breathtaking text and stories. And before that, I am the type of actors who tend to not to show too much vulnerability on stage.
mhm.
I guess I'm too selfish. I was like, why should I give that to you? I was like,
Oh my
no,
God. Are you
I'm just gonna
serious?
keep yes, I'm gonna keep that to myself. I don't want you to see me like crying the shit off myself and stuff. So
Aw.
doing that play was such a huge challenge because if you read the play, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, please go read it. It's such a beautiful play. So so yeah, that was a very big challenge. And then I learned so much. I learned so much, like to live at the moment on stage and then breathe with the audience and then let them feel this vulnerability little by little as I open up myself on stage. I didn't think I could do it before I actually went on stage, but I am so grateful and happy that I made it. And I learned so much. And I hope that experience made me a better person and performer.
Pal, you're so adorable. I love you. That's really, really sweet. A very touching memory and thought. I'm trying to think. I literally just blanked out on what I wanted to say.
Maybe you should go to bed.
I think I should. You know what? It's past, I'm old now, and it's almost 11 o'clock p.m., which means
Oh,
that
that's really late for middle-aged people, you know?
and I've been up since 5, so
God.
I don't sleep. I just don't sleep. But Pal, I want to say thank you so much once again for coming on this first of what hopefully will be quite a few series.
You will make it, yes.
I will do something. I'm doing it now. And yeah, I just thank you for coming on. It's been really nice talking to you and chatting with you.
My
And
pleasure too.
in another time period, I'm sure we could go on forever and ever and ever. So we'll circle back to this
Yeah,
sometime in the future. But for right
definitely.
now,
Let's go to bed.
thank you, pal.